The following SpongePod is brought to you by Tough Tavern. Hey, Tim, I think I got a job. You want in?
Sure. What's the job?
Oh, you know. It's just taking back what's already ours.
Oh, okay, I guess.
Well, if I need to find some tough people to help me take back what's mine, I can just go to the Tough Tavern. Not only does this place have an abundance of bodyguards, but it's a great place to try to find some toughers to successfully pull off the job of a lifetime.
Oh, some toughers. I don't know if I would consider myself within that realm of
You wouldn't
toughness.
consider yourself with like a Matt Damon type?
Maybe more like a smart Matt Damon, not like a tough Matt Damon.
Are you a Ben Affleck or a Casey Affleck?
I don't like either of those options.
Are you a Robin Williams?
Yeah, more that one.
Can we settle with a Robin Williams?
I think so, yeah.
Check out the Tough Tavern for all your, I don't even know, gangster needs.
Oh!
And welcome to the SpongePod, the official, unofficial podcast of SpongeBob SquarePants, where we overanalyze every single episode and get down to the bikini bottom of your fan theories. I'm your host and in-house SpongeBob expert, Eric. Are you ready, Tim?
Aye, Captain.
Boom. We are in the middle of September. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I can't believe we've made it here.
Well, the last time we, 2 times ago that we talked, it was like April. There was a big time gap,
right.
like where we just like hibernated. And so it's just really great to be with you consistently back here on the SpongePod. Today, we are talking through one of the greatest episodes ever, Culture Shock. I mean, there's just an abundance of funny moments in Culture Shock, and we're so happy to be talking with you about it. First off, I want to plug our social media. Make sure to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the SpongePod. Shoot us an email if you have any questions for the show at thespongepod@gmail.com. And first off, I just kind of want to stop and go back to memory lane. I don't know. Do you happen to remember in middle school the lip sync contest?
Like, very vaguely.
Very vaguely. Do you remember that I was in it with?
No.
Okay. So that's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of my high school life was sort of initiated, or at least my popularity was initiated because of my participation in the 6th grade with this lip sync contest. And so the basic backdrop behind this is I thought for some reason my buddy Tony and I were really good at acting out Linkin Park. We would go into his bedroom. We were really good buddies, and shout out to Tony. He's a good guy. And we would just like turn on Linkin Park live in Texas. It was a live performance, and we would just like play it out. And he would pretend with his guitar. He had a guitar. I just pretended to be Chester Benningfield, which R.I.P. Yeah. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun as kids doing that. And so for some reason, we decided to take this talent and make it public and go live with the whole lip sync thing, only to like learn that like literally everyone in the school was just laughing their butt off that we were doing this because apparently Linkin Park wasn't nearly as cool of a band. I feel like in middle school Linkin Park was like peak cool, so I was very confused like why our reception was so poor.
I honestly think it was like because just doing a lot of work with middle schoolers, just knowing that like
they just hate people. That's
a lot of it. Yeah. Or like anyone who throws themselves into anything with any enthusiasm, they're like immediately going to make fun of them about it.
We were very, very, very passionate about our Linkin Park. You couldn't get in between us and our Linkin Park. Anyway, so we are going to get right into the show. We do want to introduce this segment. We are going to be talking through some Yahoo answers that we found. Some good old ripoff of our favorite podcast.
Right.
But other than that, let's jump right into our first act. It is a slow day at the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob is over cleaning the tables, and Squidward is imagining himself as a ballet squid. Mr. Krabs is particularly crabby when the deal of a free salad bar, fresh also, but a free salad bar doesn't bring in business. After the only customer of the day comes in and only wants change for the payphone outside, Mr. Krabs holds a meeting to brainstorm how they can bring in more traffic. After a few horrible suggestions from SpongeBob, they land on the idea to host a talent show at the Krusty Krab. crap. Squidward agrees to host and believes that this is going to be his big break. Now, so there are a lot of ways to bring in business to a company.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I can't think of a talent show being the number one option. I mean, free salad bar is pretty good.
That sounded like a pretty great option.
That's a pretty great option. You got to advertise it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like if you're just doing the free salad bar, I mean, nobody heard about it. You know, I just really challenged the marketing team over there at the
Krusty Krab.
The Krusty Krab. Yeah. I just wonder. I mean, what would you pitch to do better in business?
I really like free salad bar. This is kind of the same idea, but on like the other end of it, I like the idea of like free ice cream, or not free ice cream, but just like,
I feel like that could get really costly.
Probably maybe like an ice cream sundae bar.
All the milk from above ground.
That's true. Yeah.
Down.
Because it's not, ice cream isn't natural to the.
There aren't floating cows.
Yeah.
Or I guess swimming cows.
They'd have to they'd have to go to the surface and get
that would
them,
be pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I think more than a talent show, they could just bring in an act.
Yeah.
You know, I guess talent show kind of cuts out the money that would be required of paying for a band. But I think that it would be a more reliable experience to be able to enjoy, you know, a band. I don't know. And also, like, who is really watching the store? Like if everybody involved, you know, are they not selling food during the talent show?
Oh, that's a good question.
SpongeBob is cleaning up. Yeah. And he's like a part of the show.
Yeah, and Mr. Krabs is just in the back of the store.
We've never known of like a B crew, you know? Like we pretty much would presume that when SpongeBob takes a day off, like the whole store shuts down. Yeah. Like everybody takes a day off. Yeah. Like I think that's essentially what the idea is. Tim, what did you find online?
Yeah. So this is a fan theory from one of our favorite places, IMDb.
Perfect.
So this user, Billy Zane 221 says, an underwater talent show is actually where a majority of Hollywood got their start. This is where we found Leonardo DiCaprio for Titanic, as that sinking scene really needed to look good.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
well, and so there's a little bit of a subject here where he says, this is where we found.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Might we have actually
uncovered a comment from the Billy Zane?
Not from Billy Zane.
Or from James Cameron.
James Cameron.
Yeah.
Is James Cameron now a contributor to the SpongePod?
I think so. I think we should start
advertising it.
Yeah. Unlike the salad bar that didn't get advertised.
Exactly.
We need to advertise that James Cameron
here on the SpongePod that instead of, you know, not advertising great things that happened, I mean, James Cameron is responsible for Avatar. If like, you know, Avengers, you know, the newest Avengers avenge the heroes. I forget what it was called, but if the newest Avengers didn't have, you know, to do it 3 times, Avatar would still be the number 1 highest paid, and we could probably start doing ads for, you know, real companies.
Real companies, not just.
We can take this out of my you know, basement, and we can do this in a real studio.
We're going to the moon, baby.
We're going to the moon. We're gonna overanalyze more than just SpongeBob. I know that sounds horrible to say on this show, but I'm just saying James Cameron is now a contributor. I don't know. Underwater, just to get back to James Cameron's thoughts, underwater talent shows sound pretty dubious.
Yeah, very specific, especially for people who don't breathe underwater.
Yeah, and like, why would you encourage like stars to go underwater? You know, like,
yeah,
I feel like they have stunt doubles for all of that. They wouldn't just make Leo DiCaprio go underwater for anything.
Well, but I do think the idea is like, he's saying this is where they find the stars initially.
So they say, hey, beautiful face, come over here, take a deep dive in this pool and, you know, sing a cabaret.
Right. Exactly.
And if they do it correctly, then you sign a multi-million-dollar deal with Marvel, and forever your soul is just Marvel's.
Hey, they don't call it Hollyweird for nothing, right?
Oh, all right. Well, if Jimmy C tells us that's how it's done.
Yeah.
You know, we're friends now. I don't know if you know this.
We can call him Jimmy C.
I mean, I've always called him Jimmy C. Rolling right into the second act, Squidward and the team are busy at work building the stage for the talent show when SpongeBob asks the stingy squid when his spot on the show will be. After showing the sleepy squid some of his few talents, Squidward is just not impressed. SpongeBob vows to come up with the most cultured act possible. On the day of the big show, SpongeBob is beyond thrilled to see his parents in attendance. Squidward explains to the contestants that the event is actually not their time to shine, but actually his. Squidward finally agrees to let SpongeBob mop up after the show, and SpongeBob agrees to make it an absolute showstopper. All right. So first off, like, what more does Squidward really need than to be on the biggest cartoon network that is
Right.
Nickelodeon?
Yeah. I mean,
what is a free salad bar at the Krusty Krab going to compare to Viacom?
right. Yeah. I also kind of like this, but this is like a talent or like desire that like kind of shows up and disappears in like one episode. Like he doesn't like dancing in other episodes.
Yeah, he's more of a clarinetist.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
like he really performs more music. He does dance sometimes.
That's true.
But this
yeah.
is like the spot where we get like the most popular dancing GIF from SpongeBob.
Oh, is
and
that
it's
right?
it's a GIF of the Squidward getting down and
no, I have seen
shaking
that.
his tentacles. You know, there's a part of me that just thinks like Squidward has to understand. I mean, do you think that the people in Bikini Bottom know that they're being watched?
Yeah, is it that's the question. Is it
a Keeping Up with the Kardashians, or is it a Big Brother?
Is it like The Office?
Are they like hamming it up for the cameras that they see all around?
There's just one person who keeps looking at the camera like, can you believe this? Like,
exactly. Or is it like a Big Brother where they don't know where the cameras are and they just hope that they're like, you know, that the check comes in the mail,
right?
That they made an episode,
or maybe that's what Sandy's project actually is. Is just like film everybody.
Yeah. Or like, what if like on the offside of like SpongeBob, like what if like the cameras are just fixated on SpongeBob, but there's like a fish named Frank that's been doing like dubious stuff, like crazy stuff to try to get on camera, but like it never gets on camera because they're also focused on SpongeBob. What if the whole town is trying to ham it up?
Yeah.
You know, just to make it on screen.
And SpongeBob's like, doo doo doo, and he's like real normal, and they're just so focused.
He's just so naturally entertaining and funny.
It's like the Truman Show.
It is the Truman Show. What would you think that that SpongeBob is more Truman Show, or do you think it's just a cartoon?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I think we just talked through it. I think more Truman Show.
I would have to agree. So what would your talent be, Tim?
I'm trying to think. I did do a lip sync contest just last year, so that's
which feels better to me
as a talent.
That I did it as a sixth grader and I evolved. And here you are.
Listen, it was to raise money for a good cause.
Everything's for raising money for a good cause. The SpongePod is for raising money for a good cause. The cause being two poor people trying to make it in their life. Everything's for. I mean, like if you're not going to school to be a Nazi, you're basically doing it for a good cause.
All right,
not to belittle. That's fair. Literally every charity.
Yeah, exactly, I guess.
But anyway, what did you find online?
All right, so this is another fan theory from Reddit. As is usual, this one's pretty aggressive, so get ready. This is from Culture Warrior 103984 on Reddit. Says, this is just one more instance of the dominant culture trying to keep a good sponge down. All SpongeBob wants to do is perform in the talent show. Is that too much for you to handle Squidward, who is clearly the show's embodiment of dominant culture? I don't know. That one was kind of aggressive.
Really aggressive.
I don't know if I agree with that one so much.
it's like this person doesn't understand drama.
Right.
You know, like, does he just want like a Squidward who's just like, I don't know, it's just a show. It's stupid. You
like
know,
a really accepting Squidward.
Yeah,
he's like
or
really
even
encouraging.
just like a belittling Squidward to do this. Like, he's motivated by the fact that like Simon Cowell is going to be in the audience.
Right.
And that he's going to be the Kelly Clarkson to Simon Cowell's ears, you know, and that Simon Cowell's going to ship him away. He's going to box that squid up and he's going to send him to all the cameras. You know, he's going to be Brad Pitted, you know, at an early age. I guess Squidward's pretty old.
I was gonna say, maybe not an early age, but maybe squids age differently than humans.
Probably just a little bit. But it's like the thought that counts. You want to be motivated in these moments, and you don't necessarily, I don't find motivation in, I guess you watch Glee and they're always so encouraging to each other, but
right.
I don't know. There's a reason why this show's not on anymore.
I don't know how much Glee did you watch?
I watched like a season and a half.
Okay.
I was in show choir, and anybody that was in show choir either loved it or hated it, and I was on the other side. But yeah, I guess it just would be really tough to find a balance between the show being entertaining and just like dramatic.
Yeah. Like Squidward kind of has to be a jerk.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim, if you could be a comic book hero, what would your story be about?
I really like comics that are like slice of life type stuff. And so even though like my life is like kind of boring, except for obviously this podcast, I do think like
this is the only interesting thing about your life.
Yes, exactly. Okay,
continue.
But like, I don't know, it was like kind of like the comics where you've got like some kind of mundaneness going on, and it's like I'm a guy who like I'm a chef and I like make some food and then I like go and
be a chef. Your comic superhero would be a chef.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think this one through very well.
If you ever write that showstopper comic book about you being a chef, then make sure to sell it at Near Mint Comics. All of the best or marginally okay comic books are preserved in this underwater store where there's no way that they will be soggy. With their one and only exception of amazing and subpar comics, apparently, this needs to be your one-stop shop in comics.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a little skeptical of like the water thing, but where else are you going to... It's also very safe, right? No one's going to come and like steal wet comics.
True, because they're already soggy. Make sure to check out Near Mint Comics for all your comic needs. All right, moving right along, the Sponge Crew. The show starts with Squidward telling a few jokes that only Patrick would laugh at, while Mr. Krabs' daughter does a cheer routine that gives everyone in the room concussions. SpongeBob gets some mopping advice from Squidward after Gary performs some dope Def Jam poetry, and Plankton tries to make a Krabby Patty disappear. Squidward comes on the stage and performs a dance routine that is confusing at best. With a backdrop of the Grand Canyon and a onesie bathing suit on, Squidward flops around on stage in the many different styles of dance. The crowd starts to revolt on our dear Squid, paying Mr. Krabs to buy tomatoes to throw at Squidward. After the humiliation of the squid, SpongeBob comes on to clean up the mess, and the crowd goes absolutely crazy. Squidward initially thinks the audience is going wild for him, only to learn that they are indeed cheering on SpongeBob. Now, so first off, we have to note this is another My Leg alert. We got a My Leg. This was during the chaos of the situation. It was during the chaos of
Pearl's performance, right?
Yeah. And so that was another beautiful moment of My Leg. My leg. It's just so good. It's so good. So first, the real question here is, do you think SpongeBob is actually talented? Now, considering our Truman Show scenario previously,
right,
I think the Truman Show would suggest that he is absolutely talented. Mm-hmm. This would also suggest that too, which I think validates the Truman Show thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, that yeah. Even mopping up, on a stage is more entertaining than whatever piece of hot garbage that Squidward, put out.
Right.
I mean, what do you think? Is he talented?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do. It's funny because there's that whole thing at the beginning where he shows them the talent with like the blowing the bubbles and the rhinoceros, and that's actually pretty impressive, pretty talented.
True.
And SpongeBob really shows his like artistic ability here, where even when he's not using like the gimmick of like a bubble and tap shoes, he can still move in a way that everyone's like, yeah, that's amazing,
Yeah, I think the other real question here is, do you think Squidward had any clue how stupid he is? Like how bad that talent, like why would you ever pay to watch somebody that has like 9 arms, 8 arms? He's an octopus. Right. Dang, that was stupid.
That's stupid.
Somebody who has 8 arms do dance moves. Like obviously they have a like an advantage in the dancing department. It's like particularly impressive to see some of these dancers with only 2 legs and 2 arms do some crazy stuff because they don't have, double that amount of limbs. Yeah. There's a part of me that just, it wasn't thrilling. And it wasn't even like one of the more brilliant musical moments in SpongeBob. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about the crazy Super Bowl, song, or even like the next episode, little spoiler alert fun, there's a lot of these musical moments, and that certainly wasn't one of them. I mean, do you think Squidward's talented?
No, I mean, I'm kind of interested in like the laser light show aspect of it. Like that's actually pretty impressive. Where there's all this like flashing lights and all this other jazz, but his actual dancing is like, shrug shoulders, right?
Yeah,
like kind of whatever.
It's okay. What did you find online?
So this one, this is a fan theory that comes from Eric Thine on Google Drive.
What a chump.
What a chump. He or she writes, "This show is proof that true talent is never actually judged fairly. Why listen to a show analyzing the kids' show SpongeBob when you can watch Logan Paul light his butt on fire on YouTube? Sometimes having only 45 subscribers is the price of having a product you're proud of."
You know what's hilarious is that I actually wrote this document about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And that statement is still relevant. I don't know if that's hilarious or sad, but Logan Paul is still wildly too important and not important, but popular.
A cultural thing. Yeah.
And we are just scratching by. We're just doing this as a passion project. It's a vanity project at best.
Although I thought you told me recently that we had 97 subscribers.
We did. Yeah. I don't know if that's true though. That could be a lot of different things.
Oh, okay.
I think like 10 of them came from Europe, and I'm not convinced that Europeans are that interested into white guys talking about SpongeBob.
Well, if Bikini Bottom is in fact off the coast of Holland, maybe.
Yeah, that's really clutch. Anyway, that concludes our analysis of the episode. Hope that worked out for you guys. Now we're going to do a segment called Yahoo Answers with the Experts. We have isolated a few questions that we would like to talk through on here. Two actually. So the first question is, can someone please describe SpongeBob SquarePants? As a further description, they write, can someone please describe SpongeBob SquarePants? His physical and personality, please. Like a short descriptive paragraph about him, like everything about him. Thank you very much. And we don't have a name on this one.
No.
But what do you think? Can you describe SpongeBob in a quick paragraph? For this viewer,
I would say SpongeBob is a square yellow. I was gonna say a square yellow rectangle, so clearly I can't describe him.
He's a square rectangle circle.
He's a square rectangle circle.
We're already off to a good start because this person is clearly writing an essay.
That's the thing, is I was like, are we doing someone's school homework?
Yeah, it's clearly like the first act or the first the first paragraph of a really poorly planned essay.
Like a first day of school essay, or you tell them
maybe
what
it's
your
like
favorite thing
third
is.
grade and they're just trying to learn how to. They're trying to learn how to
summarize,
actually write papers. I think the way I describe SpongeBob is that he is an animated sponge who continually finds illogical and elusive ways to make his friends angry. And the people that rely on him the most, just angry. There's a lot. It's a sponge that causes a lot of pain.
I like that it's kind of cynical, like a cynical reading.
I mean, it's true. It's not accurate. I don't think it's his fault, really. I think it's just he struggles to figure out, and it's almost like he's designed in a way to just like trip on himself in a way where you want him to succeed. You know, like, I don't know what the end game in SpongeBob is. Like, I don't know if he's trying to own, you know, the Krusty Krab. Right. I don't know if he's trying to become mayor. Ooh, that could be a good one for him because, you know, he knows half the town loves him. You know, the bodybuilders love hanging out with him.
Half the town also hates him, though. So,
well, they hate him in that lovable way where, like, they'll invite him to a party because, you know, they're friends, but they aren't necessarily excited about them coming out, like SpongeBob coming over. Yeah. You know, and like Patrick is pretty limited in that regard. Like, Patrick can barely get out of a star.
Right. Yeah.
His rock. He is a star. Yeah. I don't know. There's a part of me that wonders, you know, if SpongeBob is like really trying to take over the world, you know, he's doing a very strange job of doing it.
Yeah. I think he just wants to live his life. I think that's his whole gig. He just wants to be Sponge. He just wants to be Sponge. But yeah, like almost everything.
Which is pretty honorable. I mean, there's a lot of people that are trying to, you know, not be a sponge.
They're just trying to be human.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's talk about this next one. This next brilliant you know, of advice. What's the deal with SpongeBob SquarePants? A few days ago, they were talking about a panty raid. In today's episode, the new Western one, they did a song about idiot friends, using the word idiot over and over again. We have always taught our kids not to use the word idiot. My daughter is 4, and when she does watch it, she likes it. We are thinking about not allowing SpongeBob on our TV anymore. Does anyone else think that it is too adult for kids? Now, this is a pretty popular concern because there are a lot of innuendos that are not specifically for the children audience. However, if you were to have a kid today, what do you think? Would you let your kids watch SpongeBob?
I mean, there is an aspect where I'm like, I watched SpongeBob and that turned out fine.
True. I mean, but did you?
That's for all of you to decide. Although, you know, I think the show started in 1999, so I was like 9 or 10. Yeah. So I was a little older.
Yeah, you'd already processed a lot of the like crappy behavior that most people don't process, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think I would probably let my kids. I mean, you're probably right. There are probably words that you want to avoid. You know, like I wouldn't want my kid to say idiot myself. You know, that to me is something that's rude. And if the show is saying something that specifically, you know, you don't want, but then again, the show was talking about like, you know, animals living underwater. You know, there's just a whole goofy aspect to it that there's not, you can't actually, you know, hold up a bank and say, well, I watched it on SpongeBob. Why can't it work in this scenario? Yeah. You know, so I think there's an amount of, you know, accountability to your own family. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Tim?
I mean, I don't know how this may be very unscientific, but like at 4 years old, it's like, are you going to remember the episode of SpongeBob?
That's true. I mean, I watched a lot of them as a kid, and I'm really thankful that we're watching through them nowadays because like I like half remember a lot of them, but I don't remember ever like the words. Yeah, I don't remember him saying like idiot or telling someone to shut up or something silly like that. So, you know, there's probably some of this probably sticks, but some of this is probably not as sticky as I think we want to make it to be. And that is the SpongePod for here today. I'm so happy that you're able to join us. Quick shout out to our data researchist is Simon Cow. Our associate producer is Paul Abdul. Our creative producer is Randy Jackson. Our childcare producer is Christina Crosley. Our office assistant is Zach Cooper. Our audio engineer is Jessica Brummett. Music by DJ Eugene, and music and cover art by the man, the myth, the Milky, Michael G. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, as well as emailing us questions at thespongepod@gmail.com. This was a good episode. I think we were able to assess the talents of Bikini Bottom. Yes. Thus being none. Right. There's nearly no talent in Bikini Bottom. I guess SpongeBob is pretty talented. Yes. But the rest of them are grade A garbage. But yeah. Now, where was I? Was I watching SpongeBob? Gotta make it hyper dramatic. Yeah. But
a nice pause there.
Little pause. Little talking over the music. So people are just wondering why we're still talking. Have a good week.